Hey everyone, what's up? Today I want to share an absolutely insane moment I witnessed that I'm never going to forget. It wasn't just me either. Tons of other people saw it, and it was even caught on camera. Trust me, this story is going to highlight the importance of cultural respect and how some people just can't seem to keep it together. If you're into human stories and life's unexpected moments, be sure to hit that subscribe button and come along for the ride. This whole thing went down on a sunny afternoon in London, right in front of Buckingham Palace. You had the usual scene: tourists snapping photos, chatting, and then, of course, the royal guard standing there in their iconic red tunics and white gloves. Not just one, but a whole bunch, all like statues, standing at their posts, totally unwavering. One of them, a young soldier I later found out was named Sergeant Thomas Harrow, seemed like the embodiment of British tradition. He was just so focused, so dignified. The air was buzzing with tourist excitement, everyone wanting to capture that moment and be part of history. Then, things got really interesting. This dude walks into the crowd, total swagger, beer bottle in hand, and a hat that looked like it had been cooked on a grill every day. He had on some crazy patterned shirt and cargo shorts. Brad, I guess, looked like he was in his late 30s, and he starts yelling, "USA, USA," like he's at a football game. At first, people in the crowd were chuckling, but some were clearly annoyed. Brad, though, seemed to take that as encouragement. Like he was the star of some show, he starts walking towards the royal guards. He acts like they're just there for a photo op. "Hey buddy, smile for the camera," he yells, his voice loud enough to cut through the crowd. The guard didn't even flinch, eyes fixed forward, standing absolutely still. This seemed to tick Brad off. It was like he decided to take over the show. "What? Too cool to say hi," he mocked, using his beer bottle as a mic. The vibe in the crowd started to get tense. A mom grabbed her kid's hand, while other tourists were whispering and glancing between the two guys. Instead of backing down, Brad decided to go further. He started mimicking the guard's posture, trying to salute and almost falling over. Some people were cringing, and a lady next to me whispered to her friend, "This is like watching a train wreck." But Brad wasn't done. In his head, that guard was just there for his amusement, and he wasn't leaving without getting his money's worth. Brad then dug into his pocket and started throwing loose change at the guard's feet, each clink punctuated by some sarcastic comment like, "Is that all you got? Just gonna stand there like a statue?" The crowd shifted uncomfortably, some laughing weakly, most just staring in disbelief. Who does that? Sergeant Harrow didn't change his expression, but if you looked closely, you could see a slight tremor in his jaw. You could tell his patience was running thin, and it was really bothering him. Brad mistook the silence for weakness. In his mind, the guard was part of his British experience, and he'd paid for this experience. "So you're too good for us, huh?" he yelled, stumbling on his feet. Suddenly, with his goofy grin, he shouted, "Well, I'll make you move." And that's when the unexpected happened. Brad throws his arms open, rushes at the guard, and tries to ride him like a horse at a county fair. "Yeehaw," he yelled, his voice cutting through the shocked silence. The crowd collectively held its breath, the audacity of the whole thing leaving everyone speechless. Phones went up, trying to capture the chaos. But Sergeant Harrow, cool as a cucumber, just stepped back and barked in his firm, authoritative voice, "Stand back now." The command echoed across the square, sharp and powerful. Brad froze in his tracks, the drunk bravado fading from his face. The crowd erupted in applause. A police officer, who was nearby, started pushing his way through the crowd. Brad's swagger was gone, replaced by a sheepish guilt. Before the officer could get to him, the guard, Sergeant Harrow, stepped forward unexpectedly. It was a deliberate, disciplined move that shut down the chatter. And then he spoke, something he wasn't really supposed to do. His voice was calm but firm. "This isn't a game or a joke," he said. His eyes locked onto Brad's bewildered face. "You're disrespecting yourself and your country with this behavior." Time seemed to stop. The guard's measured but resolute tone caught the crowd off guard, and everyone held their breath. Brad, as if the fog of alcohol was lifting, seemed to feel the shame crawling up his neck and into his face. One guy from the crowd broke the silence. "Go home, you idiot." The sentiment resonated, and others chimed in, expressing how they found the situation deplorable. Brad was sweating now, trying to apologize. "Hey, sorry man, didn't mean anything by it, he stammered. But his words just tumbled out like everything else before. His attempt at a laugh was just a strange gurgle, which only made things worse. The police officer reached him and professionally grabbed his arm. "Let's go," he said, short and concise, and started guiding Brad through the crowd. The drunk tourist didn't resist, his previous confidence replaced by a pathetic surrender. Sergeant Harrow, with a practiced and calm movement, adjusted his hat and returned to his post as if nothing had happened. The crowd cheered, applauding for the guard. It wasn't just for him, but also for his unwavering stance and dignity in the face of the absurd. Later, the video of the incident went viral, sparking debates about cultural respect and tourist behavior. Many criticized Brad's actions, while others praised the guard for his professionalism and composure. A mortified Brad, watching the reactions from his hotel room, realized the gravity of his actions. He acknowledged his disrespect, apologized publicly, and vowed to learn about the cultures he visits. The guard's commanding officer, meanwhile, praised him for his exemplary conduct. The story ends with Sergeant Harrow back on duty, standing tall and strong, a silent guardian of tradition. A crowd gathered again, inspired by their unflinching honor. And there you have it, folks. That was what I saw and experienced. If you're into these kinds of stories and weird life moments, don't forget to subscribe and come along for the ride. We've got a lot more to laugh and think about together. Until the next story, take care